You know, a lot of different things, new venue, a lot of different things was happening in this. You get behind early, stay behind for a significant period of time, gets dicey. Building capacity, Bill. That's what you want to do in the midweek games. You want to win these types of games. You can look back on these and say, because here's the thing. As you look back on this schedule, nobody's going to see this game in 4-3 and say, you know, they won that on a balk. And
very true.
Nobody's going to say that. It's just going to say, oh, they beat College of Charleston. So but Bill, if it would have went the other way,
it would have been an error, basically, a mental mistake that would have cost them. But they don't. South Carolina wins last night, and we'll let you hear from Paul Maneri because now they get geared up for a trip out to Fayetteville, Arkansas, to take on the number 3 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, and we'll have that for you here this coming weekend. Friday night, South Carolina and Arkansas. That game will be at 7:30 local time. We'll have pregame for you starting at 7:15. And then Saturday's contest, 3 o'clock, again here, our time. 3 o'clock our time. Pregame start at 2:45. And then Sunday will be a 3 o'clock rubber match there to wrap up the series. So we'll get you going for that. And then, by the way, a week from yesterday, South Carolina will head to another neutral site game where they'll take on North Carolina. So, Preston, again, South Carolina really goes on. This is kind of not that later in the season there aren't stretches that are very difficult, but South Carolina really is kind of fully immersed in the stretch of the season that is a true murderer's row when you look at coming off of that matchup against Oklahoma, when you talk about playing College Charleston again, where there's just maybe a little more to it. Now you get number 3 Arkansas. You'll get a top 10 North Carolina team next Tuesday night. And then at least at this point, you got a top 5 Tennessee team who finally, I believe it was last night, lost their first game of the season to East Tennessee State.
Yeah, well, this is the schedule. This is what he came with. It will be interesting to see what Paul Maneri does with his schedule next year when he's the one that's in charge of doing the schedule. But as it states this year, this is what we have. You know,
he doesn't get to set the non-conference. He doesn't get to set the conference schedule. Right. I think they would encourage him to continue playing the North Carolina game. You know, College of Charleston really still a baseball game that I think we should get a little more of the midweek stuff and do that. So that would be really good. But certainly when you talk about this is a good win last night. We'll talk more about that. Also yesterday, Pro Day. So speaking from experience, there were some good Pro Days. What was last night like?
Listen, man, I assume some folks had some good nights last night. I assume. But, times are different these days. I don't know what these kids do these days. They probably went home, got on their video game, and talked to some people on the internet. I don't know. Do they even go out in real life anymore? I don't know. So maybe. Who knows? They got on their Discord and had a chat with a bunch of other people. I don't know. Okay. Whatever they consider fun, I guess they did it.
Well, we will get into a little bit of how Pro Day went down. Clayton White speaking yesterday, and he actually gave us some defensive goals for the spring and also talked a lot about what they lost, and that was the guys that were participating yesterday in that Pro Day. Debo Williams, Demetrius Knight, Bam Martin Scott, Nick Eamon Worry, O'Donnell Fortune, Alex Huntley, Tonka Hemingway, DeAndre Jules, Kyle Kennard. You kind of get the point. There's a lot there, and Clayton White talked about it.
Yeah, I wonder if Clayton was watching that with just a longing, maybe just one single tear.
Somebody's talking to him, but his mind is watching that. He has no clue what they're saying.
Yeah, he can't even hear anything that anybody's saying. Just like 11 sacks, 3 knockdowns, defensive signal caller. There's my lockdown corner. Oof.
Yeah. And then he has to go into a meeting room maybe after that and look at all the fresh faces and be like, hey, I need you to put that name tag back on. Not sure who exactly you are. So we'll let you hear a little bit from Clayton White. Also, I believe is it Troy basketball that I saw this story on how they decide to what players they decide to recruit.
That is, and I am wondering, is this a sound recruiting strategy? Is this a good soundbite? What's going on here? So
I saw this yesterday. NCAA basketball tournament got going, and I couldn't have done this any more perfectly. Do you have any idea what channel True TV is?
I don't.
We just completely stumbled on it on Spectrum. My internet here tells me FS1, for currently the Dodgers and the Cubs game 2 of the Tokyo series that's about to get underway is 112. And that's why I bring this up, because I just flipped over to 112 on the TV here in front of us, and I was like, oh, how about that? That's true TV, Preston Thorne. We discovered purely on couldn't have done that any better, but we will search here for True TV as last night NCAA tournament gets going, and I guess gets going kind of like Major League Baseball, one of those things where it wasn't truly opening day, but you had the start of baseball season, and unfortunately Jen's Cubs went down. They'll get a redemption today, or coming up here in a few minutes if I can find the channel, and we'll play around with that during the break.
Hop to it. Come on, let's go.
When is the moment where I need to have my brackets complete? Should I have had them completed already?
So let me ask you this. My son had an AAU basketball practice last night, and this is, again, a sense of getting older. When I was 14 or 15, man, moments after the NCAA tournament, I had a bracket filled out. Probably as I hit college, maybe a little after, I'd fill out a bracket on Monday morning. You know, you kind of get to your first college class or whatever, and you fill out a bracket. You're talking with some buddies. As I got into my 20s, maybe it would be Monday night. You get through Monday. I haven't filled one out yet. And
within like 2 years ago, you filled out like about 3.
No, I've had a standing rule, 2.
Oh, 2. Okay.
2. Well, like the initial bracket, and then the Wednesday night, Thursday morning bracket. I have had a standing rule for roughly 30 years of 2 brackets. One, essentially, which should I say, because it started when I was 12, as soon as the tournament was over, just gut whatever I went. And then by Wednesday or Thursday, after doing a little research, I was like, all right, let me move this team around. All right, maybe this is the upset. Preston, I think you have up until, if you want, who do you want to answer this question? 42-year-old Bill or 12-year-old Bill?
I just need to know.
12-year-old Bill says you should have had it filled out Sunday night because you needed to pick the play-in games.
Okay.
42-year-old Bill's like, all right, you've got up until 11:55. There's a 5-minute buffer window that you better have. I think actually it doesn't start till 12:10 tomorrow, but you get the point. About 11:55, there needs to be a bracket completed.
So I still have time.
You got time. Yeah, I've actually just got these brackets. We got some over here on our desk. But last night, actually, as I just mentioned, I was at a basketball practice for my son, so I didn't watch it. I saw the highlights when I got home, Preston, and I don't know if you called it, but St. Francis, Alabama State provided us already our first NCAA tournament moment of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it, but I did read that it happened. So I'm looking forward to actually hearing it. I think we have some sound from that.
Little Hail Mary pass there to wrap up the game as Alabama State advances and gets their first win in the NCAA tournament. And then, thankfully, and I say this because it took any suspense out of the game, North Carolina got a big early on San Diego State, and I was like, okay, we can go to bed here and not have to worry about this one.
So North Carolina proves why they should be in the tournament. That's what they went out there with a chip on their shoulder, telling everybody, we heard y'all talking trash, and we're going to make a run here.
Early, at least we ain't.
Okay.
You ready for an early, at least we ain't?
Let's do it. We've
known what we were as a basketball team since about mid-November.
Uh-huh.
What a bad week for West Virginia. First, they get snubbed, all right? Then you get your governor getting involved. And then yesterday, Indiana comes in and takes your basketball coach, who is getting your program back.
I did not know this happened.
So Indiana hired Darian DeVries, I believe, or DeVries, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, as the new head men's basketball coach yesterday. So West Virginia gets snubbed. You get the governor basically saying we got to go to court on this, and then just for good measure to kick them while they're down, Indiana's like, we're going to take him. Thank you for that, because at Indiana, we don't get snubbed.
I just figured out my end another thing for today.
All right.
What a story.
So, yeah. So, I guess at least we ain't West Virginia as we get up and get going this morning. But North Carolina rolls, just dominated over San Diego State last night. Absolutely zero problems in that contest. And then are you ready for anything else from last night? Do we want to do this?
Sure, let's go.
Okay. Jacksonville State and Georgia Tech, one of the Power 5 schools. Who won?
The Gamecocks.
Yeah. Yeah. Power Fives last night.
Damon Stoudemire still there, or is that not a thing anymore?
Yes, I think he's still there.
Oh boy.
So Georgia Tech finishes 17-17 on the season. They take a 17-point thumping from Jacksonville State in the NIT.
Go Cox.
At least we ain't.
Yeah, for sure.
Oklahoma State, another Power Five, did win last night. They beat Wichita State by 10. Stanford 87-70, and
They beat CSUN.
they beat CSUN.
Mm-hmm.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Was it UC Riverside that got the last second invite that shouldn't have been an invite, but they were allowed to play in? It was Riverside, not Irvine, right? Because apparently we were letting all the. Okay, I want to make sure.
It was Riverside.
Represented well last night. South Alabama, probably watching that game, was like, of course they deserved the victory. UC Riverside 62, Santa Clara 101.
So after all that.
There was your NIT update for your Wednesday morning. 803-404-6100. We'll get into some baseball. Gamecocks 4-3 winner over College of Charleston last night. We'll let you listen to a little bit of Paul Maneri. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. Wednesday morning episode of The Early Game. Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder, and First Palmetto Bank. It is the time of year where you are following the interest rates very closely. All right, well, that might not actually be true. But if you're thinking about refinancing your home, if you're thinking about purchasing a brand new home, you probably are actually keeping an eye on the interest rates. And that's not a bad thing. And the first thing you need to do is to call Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank and see what products and options are available to you. It's easy to go out and find that great brand new house that you've been looking for. The hard part is finding the right mortgage, the right payments, the right down payment that you've got to make it affordable. But if you call Jacob Crowder just like I did about 5 years ago, I'm telling you, the guy is ready to help you, and he'll do it in a smooth and easy fashion with a lot of professionalism. 803-719-1005. Again, that's 803-719-1005. That's how you can reach out to Jacob Crowder, the Mortgage Guru, with First Palmetto Bank today, and tell him Bill Gunner sent you.
And out there on the highway this morning, I-26 westbound there at exit 119. We do have a report of an accident there, so be careful. I-26 westbound coming into Columbia, exit 119. You will encounter an accident there. Your forecast for today, sunny and 81. Gets cooler tomorrow. Some morning showers and some windy conditions. 66 for the high, sunny, and 66 for Friday. But we'll have sunshine throughout the weekend, and we'll be in the mid-70s. But right now, we are looking at 42 on 107.5 The Game.
(803-404-6100). We got a busy couple days for you. I want to remind you we will have Carolina Calls with baseball coach Paul Maneri tonight right here at 107.5 The Game. That'll be following Jay and Elijah. Tomorrow, the NCAA tournament gets going, and we got you covered. Gamecock Central takes over Firehouse Subs right here in Columbia from 9 a.m. to noon, 633 Main Street in Columbia. And that'll be followed up by a little play hooky afternoon action. Twin Peaks and the Vistas, where you can go and hang out with Terry Ford, with Elijah Campbell, with Jay Phillips, with the whole gang. They will be at Twin Peaks and the Vista, part of the Schroeder's Towing Road Show that rolls on. So tomorrow, you want to come check out any of the 107.5 The Gang, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. over at Firehouse Subs, 633 Main Street. I'll admit I ate at a Firehouse Subs yesterday for lunch over in Lexington. And then tomorrow, 12 to 6, Twin Peaks and the Vista to play a little play hooky Thursday and watch the NCAA tournament. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning if you want to do so. So, the big thing, we can joke about a lot of stuff for this, but the big thing is, Preston, they win the game last night. You're right. Nobody's going to remember how they won it or what they had to do. They had to rally. They had to do this. They had to do that. They get a balk call that sends a runner in. They won the game.
That's the important part of the midweeks, because nobody's going to go back and look at the stats, the breakdown, et cetera, et cetera. You just had to win the game. And I hesitated. I walked up to the line. And our texter from yesterday asked the question of, was it the biggest game? And I walked up to the line, but I wasn't ready to give it its full due of it being it. That being said, very important to win that game.
It was. Is it more important because you know what's on deck with Arkansas and you know what you're coming off of? Or is it more important because of the manager in the dugout opposite of you?
I would say all of the above. But I would add also more important because of the way they lost the previous series.
All right. So more important because of how you lost previous series.
All of them. I think all of them important. Losing the previous series when you had a chance to win and the way you lost it, big series coming up in front of you, Chad Holbrook coming into town. There was a lot of reasons why I said that it was really, really extra important for them to win this game.
Neutral site game, too, and I think that matters a little bit, even though it's here in Columbia. It matters a little bit more when you get that.
I saw a picture of the crowd. I think it might have truly been neutral.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's got to do what you got to do, I reckon. Listen. This is Paul Maneri after the game last night. He's talking about the importance of winning that ball game last night heading into the Arkansas series.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no dummy, okay? Well, I guess that's up for debate, actually. But, you like to win these close ones in the middle of the week because, the weekend is going to be an unbelievable challenge. You're playing one of the top teams in the country. And, listen, our kids I thought they played great the whole weekend against Oklahoma. They really did. We deserved better. It's nobody's fault but our own. I mean, we just didn't do what it took to win on Sunday. But I actually thought we outplayed Oklahoma all weekend. We out-hit them every game. Our ERA was lower. We made less errors. I mean, I thought we played really good baseball the whole weekend. When I look at it and say we went 1-2, I'm like, how the heck did that happen? But, when you get to a one-run game, at the end, you got to throw the ball over the plate. We didn't in the seventh inning, and they were able to tie the game, and then we didn't make make the plays in the ninth inning when we had a chance to put it away. So we have nobody to blame but ourselves. But I really felt we played well all weekend, and so the confidence of the team is good. It's just, you just got to be able to put behind you those negative things that happen, the adversity that happens, because there's no do-overs. You just have to learn to put it behind you, learn from it, and then get after it. We didn't play exceptionally great tonight. Jarvis did, and we got a couple of hits, but the kids' command obviously was a big factor in the outcome of tonight's game.
Jarvis Evans settling into, I think, his role there as kind of the midweek starter, the Georgia transfer. 6 innings last night, gave up 1 earned run, struck out 5, walked 2, gave up 5 hits in facing 22 batters, Preston. And, I think, my opinion, Paul Maneri and Terry Rooney may disagree, but I feel like they're still trying to sort out the weekend rotation. But I feel like you're starting to feel comfortable that Jarvis Evans can hold down the midweek spot for those important games that when we get to the NCAA tournament selection time, they matter.
Hugely important role on the staff. Because now, if he can eat up innings and win and take care of business in the midweek, now you presumably have your guys for the weekend. And who knows if he develops, as we've heard from Coach Paul, if we heard from Coach Maneri, if he keeps doing well in the midweek, who knows if he doesn't advance to becoming a weekend guy if he keeps pitching that way. So definitely a great guy to lock down that spot and be able to be confident going into the midweek games.
One of the questions after the game is if this series with Charleston would continue. Look, I love it. Obviously you're a Charleston native. You got several schools down there, Citadel, Charleston, Southern, obviously College of Charleston. I like seeing these two teams play. There's history from College of Charleston. Look, we've got a great baseball state, Coastal Carolina. Obviously, Clemson doing what they're doing in South Carolina's got a lot of history in the national championships. But this is a series that you'd like to see continued. Last night after the game, Paul Maneri, Preston, you asked about his scheduling philosophy. Here's Paul Maneri after the game talking about this series with Charleston.
Yeah, next year we'll play at Founders, though. But, I called Chad when I first got here and said, hey, Chad, how come we're not playing? It seems like we ought to be. I know there's a lot of Gamecock fans over in Charleston. So the plan was first just to go over there because this schedule was done already. I had inherited a schedule. And then something happened and an opening was created, so I just reached out to him and said, hey, you want to play in the spring also? And he was very excited about that. But we plan on going back there in the fall again next year, and then them coming to play at the Founders. So, yeah, they have such a good ball club, and Chad does such a great job over there. And there's no reason for us not to play, in my opinion.
Good for him. I like that. Look, you've got a very tough SEC schedule. The easiest thing in the world is to say, no, we're going to rest our guys. With Chad Holbrook, Charleston's been very competitive. A lot of people thought they got snubbed out of the NCAA tournament last year, so it's good to see this little in-state. Clemson has something I think Clemson with Coastal has something kind of similar where they seem to play a good bit. I'd like to see South Carolina and Coastal play a little bit more, but keeping that series with College of Charleston is really good, I think.
Also, he very, very quickly said, we'll be playing at Founders next year.
Yeah.
Nah. That was cool. We'll play at home. So, yeah, that's his scheduling philosophy. He had to inherit this schedule, and so he'll be putting together the schedule for next year. So, yeah, I think that's a very positive. I'm always for anytime you can play the in-state schools in midweek games or as scheduling philosophies as far as football is concerned, basketball, I think you should do it.
I agree with you mostly. I loved Darren Horn did it, didn't work out. Frank Martin did it, didn't work out. I wouldn't necessarily say that Lamont Paris has done it, it hadn't worked out, but when they take a one-game road show to one of the smaller schools, South Carolina's lost at Wofford multiple times. They lost at College of Charleston in Darren Horn's year. I think there's one or two others that they've had. Furman got South Carolina one year, I believe, in a Darren Horn year. I personally love it when you go on the road in college basketball. Lamont Paris probably don't want to do that, though. But I'd like to see South Carolina. South Carolina obviously went down and played Citadel down there, last week, I believe. I believe it was last week. 803-404-6100. Football did some things yesterday. Football's back. That's right, today, actually. First day of spring practice. We'll let you hear from Clayton White as he's got to go out there and put name tags on all of the practice jerseys to figure out who's who. Hi, I'm Coach White. Your name? Got it. All right, write that down. His assistant is what he'll tell him. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Hey, Columbia, if you're looking to tackle your lawn, you need to call Cato's Power Equipment. Cato's Power Equipment has been family-owned and serving the Midlands since 1983, and it's helped everyone from weekend warriors to professional landscapers. Third-generation owner Ben Cato provides top-notch service, great deals, and the mom-and-pop values that you love. Ben is determined to raise the standard of sales, service, and retail. At Cato's, they're proud to offer a wide selection of new and pre-owned mowers, tractors, and more. So if you're ready to invest in something new, the team will make the process easy, help you choose the right equipment, find financing options, and keep your gear running with strong service and parts. So swing by Cato's Power Equipment today. They'll help you power up your next project. Call them at 803-254-3711. That's 803-254-3711.
And on the highways this morning, we are looking at just one accident. Actually, another one popped up. So I-26 westbound at exit 119, an accident there. And then also I-77 northbound at I-26. So right there at exit 1 on I-77 northbound. And yeah, the forecast looking pretty decent for today. Going to be sunny and a high of 80, but the rain and a little bit of rain in the morning coming in tomorrow, kind of breezy conditions. And we're looking for a high of just 66, 65 on Friday, but the sun returns and we keep it for the weekend. And mid-70s is where we'll be throughout the weekend. Right now, though, it's 44 on 107.5 The Game.
Oh, basketball last night. Some of y'all just buying in way too much. Richard yelling on our text with exclamation points. Tar Heel Nation, let's go.
Okay, Richard, I like it.
Todd going.
I want to know.
Todd going. Maybe North Carolina deserves to be in the tournament after all. Anyone watch the game last night? Is that how we do it? I'm serious, real quick. Is that how we do it? Is that like they win one game? We're like, oh yeah, they were good. So like, if the SEC goes 9-5 Thursday and Friday, are we all like, oh yeah, that was good. 14 teams, they deserved it.
Yeah, the SEC does have to have a good showing.
Okay,
they do have.
Well, but I mean, that's what I'm asking. What is a good showing? Is it 4 teams in the Elite Eight? 6 teams in the Sweet 16. Think about that. We'll come back to it. Think about that. We're going to get to some football. But right now, I want to remind you, and we're going to give you a chance right now to be part of our 107.5 The Game bracket contest. We're giving you a chance to call in. So we'll take callers 6 and 8. Callers 6 and 8. 803-404-6100. We're going to assign you 2 teams. We're going to assign you 1 team. We're going to assign 2 teams. Caller 6 gets a team. Caller 8 gets a team. 803-404-6100. Go ahead. Give us a call. Caller 6, you will be assigned a team from Jen. Caller 8, you'll be assigned a team from Jen. These are already predetermined, by the way. But give us a phone call right now, and we will assign you a team for the NCAA tournament that you can follow and check out. If that team wins, you will win season tickets for the rest of the Gamecock baseball season. So go ahead and give us a call now, 803-404-6100, caller 6 and 8. So Clayton White yesterday and today, you would imagine this is probably an emotional week for Clayton White because, as you said yesterday, he's watching Pro Day. Like, oh, look at that. I coached up a lot of those guys. Man, those guys are responsible for me making now about $1.9 million a year.
I love these guys.
Clayton White's wife might even been watching, like, love y'all. Y'all are the greatest. And then Clayton's wife looks over and goes, honey, who is that group of guys? And he's like, that's our new defense.
Yeah, it's definitely probably a shock factor. You hit it on the head. Probably in the spring he's going to be calling out some missed numbers, missed names. He's going to be having to review stuff that he didn't have to review before. As Charlie Strong would always let us know, where's Abraham? Abraham would have made that play. So I'm sure Clayton White would be having Nick would have made that. So I'm sure he's having a lot of those feelings as spring gets started. Yeah,
good day overall. Let's start with the pro day there, as you had some of the numbers come out from it. I don't know. I might be in the minority on this. I didn't think that yesterday was a huge day for Nick Ebenwari. I felt like the hay was in the barn, so to speak, for what he had already tried to accomplish. But let's just look at a couple of the 40 times, Preston, because you mentioned it. 40 times are what kind of stand out. Well, here's one that instantly caught my attention because we didn't get to see him much, but he made some plays late in the season. 6'4" wide receiver Dalvon Campbell yesterday, I think may have helped himself. Dalvon Campbell, who again was injured, ran a 4.43 40.
Yeah, that's solid. I mean, that might get him some looks, but again, yes, he ran a 4.43. There's a lot of 4.43s around the country though. So that's cool.
Here's the thing about him, though. He's bigger, 6'4", and he tested in with a 35-inch vertical jump yesterday, and a 4.43 for him. He also weighed in at 219 pounds, so bigger kind of guys. I don't know what to get. By the way, I've got some of these numbers here. I need you or somebody to tell me like a 10-5 broad jump. Are we good? Is that good? I don't know.
Here's the thing though. If you don't have the statistics to back it up and you don't have the experience or the film, a lot of film, those numbers need to be unquestionably good.
Okay.
So you need to be like, what? So those are fine numbers, but really for somebody in his position, you want to be cracking that 4.3.
Tonka Hemingway yesterday, the thing that stood out to me, defensive line. Number one, Tonka ran a 5.01.40. I didn't think that was particularly good.
Yeah, again, you want to crack for that. If you want to play that position, especially with him being a tweener, not being a big guy, there's some magic numbers you want to hit. He's not going to get up to 300 pounds. So if you're not up to 300 pounds, you definitely need to be under 5 flat. So that's not a great time for him. Again, it's faster than anybody listening runs.
Yeah.
But for that position, you probably want to crack that 4.9.
DeAndre Jules had an interesting one that I saw kind of posted on last night. His wingspan, defensive lineman, you know about this, wingspan of 82 and 5/8.
Okay, so I have to do my metric numbers here. Long, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the thing. Wingspan is definitely something that would help. That was one of my positive attributes. Being an undersized guy, I have a longer wingspan. So while I am measured at 6 feet on a good day, my wingspan was like 6'2" or something like that. So that would allow you to sort of play with leverage and also get extension in the line. So that is a positive attribute.
Also yesterday, just numbers that kind of stood out. Juju McDowell popping in with a 37-inch vertical yesterday.
The boy can jump.
Old boy
got some bunnies.
Old boy can get up a little bit. David Spalding, who was injured a lot, we didn't get to see him. 36-inch vertical yesterday, pretty impressive. Gage Larvindan, again, injured most of the year. Didn't really get to see him as much as I think he kind of made some plays there, but 4.4, 5.40. Didn't feel like that was really helping. And then Debo Williams yesterday was a big day for him. So let me give you the numbers. 4.8, 7.40.
Gonna have to get that down.
4.8, 7.40. He ended up with a 9.4 broad jump, 31.5-inch vertical, 78 and 5/8 wingspan.
Yeah, Debo's not going to be the guy that's going to win in the drills. He's going to be a dude that if he does get a chance to go to practice, I imagine him making a lot of the vets mad because he'll be going 1,000%, and he doesn't only has one speed. I think if Debo can get into a camp, I think he can impress people with his football playing ability. But as far as the numbers jumping off the screen, that's probably not going to be his strong suit.
So some of those were the numbers for the defensive guys, Jules, Bam Martin, Scott there, Debo Williams. Yesterday, Clayton White talked about the goals for the spring because, all right, those guys are gone. Gamecock Larry would be like, I don't care. Talk about the guys that are here. Here's Clayton White yesterday talking about the goals for the spring.
Yes, one, I can't believe it's year 5. So it goes by very fast. Very, very fortunate to be at a university in the program working for Shane Beamer, and it's been fun. I kind of have a feeling like I'm a college basketball coach, meaning it's almost like all my one and dones are left. I have a whole new roster, whole new linebacker room. So it kind of, I'm a little bit younger.
Yeah.
I feel younger. I've been, so just because I have such a younger room and especially on my side, our guys, we told them yesterday, it's new faces, but the same standard, maybe a higher standard. So our guys last year showed us it's on tape on what to do in this defense and how we want it done. And I think it's going to be fun for real. It really is. So I'm excited.
Clayton off to, I think he's mid-season form right there. Can't believe it's year. And it really is surprising this year 5. I think there's a level of that. We'll continue talking about that for the morning. Is a lot to get to there, looking back on some of the defensive numbers from yesterday, but also looking ahead toward the future. And then coming up, we got a way of recruiting that you want to discuss?
Recruiting strategies. You might look at stars. You might look at wingspans. Some coaches have some other methods.
We'll get to that. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
we're a town of 15,000 when school's not in town. So you can imagine you got one Waffle House per 5,000 people. So probably most per capita anywhere in the country. But started off the first 2 recruits I brought on campus. We're driving down the main street. I point out Waffle House, ask them if they want to eat there for breakfast. And they were like, Waffle House? You know, hell no, I don't want to go to Waffle House. I'm like, okay, my bad. You know, we'll try and eat somewhere else. Long story short, we signed neither one of those guys. Then we brought a guy named Nick Stampley, who's an OKG, our kind of guy. He was our 3rd recruit to visit. We're driving by. We don't even say anything about Waffle House. He sees it. He's like, oh, Coach, y'all got a Waffle House here. Can we go there tomorrow? He was our first signee. He was one of the toughest guys we've ever coached. And from that point forward, we just kind of offhand ask him, do you like Waffle House? If the answer is yes, it's like, we sign them. If it's no, we never get them. So I told my staff, I was like, hey, y'all can save a lot of time and money. First phone conversation, in passing, ask them, do they like Waffle House or not?
Well, there you go, Preston.
I like it. This is the sneaky metrics that you can use to measure what somebody's talking about. Now, I don't know whether this measures how well they play basketball or measures what type of person they are, but we just finding out some information. You just got to drop some things in the conversation. You just got to say, yeah, so smothered or covered. And just leave it at that. And if they have no idea what you're talking about, you just know what you're dealing with here.
So take us back to your unofficial or official visit. I guess you're that sounds like more of an official visit story. They're different these days, a lot different these days.
Very different.
How was the meals? What was that? Because y'all used to go back in the day. I think maybe Jillian's.
Yeah. Let's go down memory lane. So we had Longhorns, which is still a staple. We had Longhorns, Jillian's, which was very cool. Now I'm gonna be honest. The meal when I was a recruit was okay.
Okay.
But when you were a host for a recruit and you were actually in college, that's when the meal really came into play.
Really?
Because it was actually you got like a good meal.
So you volunteered to host.
Sign me up. Oh, we going to Jillian's this weekend? Perfect. I'm there. So, yes, that is something. The meals are part, yes, and they have evolved. And obviously these guys have platters and spreads, and we hear about, guys going to really fancy restaurants. But this coach in particular just throws out the Waffle House test. And I do wonder where those people were from that he was recruiting that said a vehement no to Waffle House, because if you say a vehement no to Waffle House, we have questions. I mean, I can understand if people don't love Waffle House, but if you like a total out, I have questions.
It should be noted, by the way, Scott Cross, the coach here, last 9 years, 7 20-win seasons. Now, he's been at UT Arlington and Troy, so he doesn't really maybe get – now, they're in the NCAA tournament this year, but he doesn't maybe get the love that he should get. But for those of you out there being like, this guy, probably a 500 lifetime coach. Well, he is – granted, again, remember where he's been at. He is 55%. But he's gone since he's had 4 straight 20-win seasons. He's 23-10 this year at Troy. And then going back to his days at UT Arlington, he wrapped up his final 3 seasons there with 24, 27, and 21 victories. This is a guy who's not just out here throwing stuff against the wall. He seems to have a strategy in this.
But I'm also curious on the barometer of the going back to the Waffle House. Why do guys not like? Is NIL? Does that have anything to do with it? Like, oh well, I'm too good for that. I mean, I'm just.
Well, and here's the thing to remember, because a lot of people are going to be like, yes, but remember, he specifically said breakfast. Oh, let's just go get breakfast there, as opposed to like.
Yeah, I mean,
your afternoon or your evening dinner. Like, he's offering, hey, we're going to get breakfast, and I'd be, I'm with you. Like, unless you're just
I don't think that's terrible. Yeah.
As a foodie show, unless these recruits are high-end foodies who are showing up and be like, nah, I want your best local breakfast you got.
Yeah, well.
So I just didn't know if that was kind of what he's basing. Like, oh, okay. To me, if they're not throwing in Uncrustable, they're actually going to buy you a hot breakfast. I'm in.
Again, this is for breakfast. It's not as if he was offering the meal for dinner.
Right, that's a big part of that.
So I could see how somebody would be like, all right, but for breakfast, this probably is the best spot that they have to offer in town.
Because I got to be honest, like if you're just going to like the school cafeteria for breakfast, where it's the what is it, all the eggs?
Powder? No. I don't know if they do powdered or not, but
Not, but I mean, like, yeah, because, it's a waffle and hash browns and some bacon.
Yeah, you could
That's a
probably
good day.
you learn a lot about
You
the,
generally speaking need a nap after that, though.
learn a lot about a person by their Waffle House order. You can figure out some things about what they like, what they don't like. It's a lot of information you can just gather as you're talking about the Waffle
Now
House.
let's also be honest here. We got to do a little honesty. There is a 50-50 chance if these recruits are on campus and they were taken out the night previous, they were at a Waffle House maybe like 6 or 7 hours previously.
True, but also if they're awake, they probably need the Waffle House.
yes.
It's an interesting recruiting strategy, but I've heard far crazier. Troy in the NCAA tournament this coming week, and we'll see how they perform. And if this strategy pays off, they get Mark Pope and Kentucky coming up on Friday. 803-404-6100, hour 2 on the way. We'll get back into some football and some spring game discussion. Everybody got their TVs for the game? No? Okay. Bill Gunner for Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. And let me tell you something. As we roll through the month of March, the springtacular sales, they're in full bloom. You need to get out to Love Chevrolet today and check out the beautiful 14 acres of brand new Chevys from which you can choose from. And that also means you get to meet that incredible sales staff. See, that's one of the reasons that I enjoy being part of the Love Chevrolet family. It's because of the people that work there, the customer service they provide, the knowledge, the friendly atmosphere. They got cookies right there in the lobby as well. When you drive up looking for that brand new car, truck, or SUV, they know that this should be an exciting experience. It's a lot of fun, and they make it that way. They walk you around the lot. They talk to you. They explain how that car, truck, or SUV is going to help you in your daily routine. And on top of all that, at Love Chevrolet, they have the absolute best prices. Not only are you going to have fun, you're going to save money. So get out to Love Chevrolet today, and together, let's drive.
I-26 westbound there at exit 119, still working that earlier tie-up. Also, Bluff Road near Rosewood Drive. I-77 northbound at I-26, right there, exit 1 on I-77 northbound. There's an accident. And then I-77 southbound at mile marker 4, we have a report of an accident. Kelly Mill Road at EJW Road, also a report of an accident there. So be careful this morning if you would. We're looking for 82 and sunny skies today. Should be pretty nice. Tomorrow, a couple showers in the morning, breezy, 68. And Friday, sunny and 66. We will settle into the mid-70s for the weekend, 43 right now.
Cruising into hour number 2, much like the Dodgers are cruising through the Cubs right now in Game 2 of the Tokyo series. Preston and I, during that break, though, the Cubbies had the bases loaded and 1 out. And I've yet to get a proper pronunciation. The Dodgers are throwing their Japanese phenom, who they've signed in the offseason. He's making his major league debut this morning. And we were Preston and I were talking. He looks young.
He looks like a baby. Does not throw like a baby.
He's humming it up there at 97, 98. And as Preston said, painting corners. But he just he struck out 2 straight there to get out of a bases-loaded jam. And the Dodgers right now over in Tokyo looking to get out to a 2-0 record here to start the season. This will be the second of this. And then, of course, we will get the actual Major League Baseball revving up March 27th. So a week from tomorrow, we will have actual legitimate opening day for the Major League Baseball season. So that means it's time for me to check back into that MLB network package that we got invested in last year. 803-404-6100 last night. South Carolina baseball knocks off College of Charleston. Speaking of baseball, they get the win. And as Preston has said, it's not how you win. And this kind of goes back a couple weeks. I think it was a cold, rainy night over at Founders Park. I think you were out the next morning, one of those mornings when you're doing Read Across America. I can't remember exactly who South Carolina beat on I believe it was a Tuesday night before they went down to Citadel. And basically it was Davidson. And basically, after that game, because it was just ugly, Paul Maneri was like, hey, a win's a win. And that's the goal. And last night, that was kind of the same similar situation. You're playing a guy who we have a history with in Chad Holbrook. You're playing a team that's fairly good in Charleston. Do whatever you got to do. Get out of there with a victory and get set for Arkansas.
Yeah, nobody's going to look back and say, oh, they won. It was close in the 7th, and they had to come back and see it. The team will remember it, but Elsa's fans and specifically casuals just win and get on to the next series.
Jarvis Evans does not get the victory, but a very solid performance from him. Pitches 6 innings, gives up 5 hits, allows 1 earned run, strikes out 5, walks 2 in his performance last night. So solid night for him. Ethan Petrie with a decent night at the plate, going 2 for 2 for him, or 1 for 2 last night with 2 runs scored for him. So a good evening. That also makes us mention no grand slam last night. So good news. If you were signed up for the 107.5 The Game Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway, that pot now up to $175. So
okay, now we're cranking.
We're getting it cranked up a little bit. All you got to do is go to 1075thegame.com to get registered. And if a Gamecock batter hits a grand slam, you could win all the cash in the pot. It's now up to $175. Again, just go to 1075thegame.com and get yourself registered for that. And again, Preston mentioned it. Last night, South Carolina goes up 1-0 on the first, but College of Charleston's able to tack on 3 runs, 1 in the second, 2 in the 7th, before the Gamecocks get going with 3 in the 7th, and the game-winning run scored on a balk there as KJ Scobie scoring on a balk.
That's how you got to call it. and you just walk off. Everybody. Whenever the umpire calls a balk, everybody looks around like, "What?
What just happened?"
Also, balk is very similar to maybe pass interference in defense in football, where like dudes in the stands just call it, and it hasn't happened, but like that's a balk. It's like it's not. No, because nobody's really clear.
Walk over and hand a rule book, just walk away.
Yeah, nobody's really clear on what a balk actually is, and so there's a lot of misplaced balks in the stands all the time.
I've just really always thought that was kind of one of the dumbest rules in baseball.
It's very nebulous. It's like it just leaves a lot of space for that's a balk. It's not.
Umpire doesn't know what he's doing.
Always.
Umpire's completely unaware. So 4-3 last night. Gamecocks, they get the victory over Charleston, and they move on after the game. Paul Maneri saying that they will continue that Charleston series, and he even let us in on a little bit, saying, this was nice, but next year Charleston comes to Founders Park. They will be at our stadium next year.
He said it very quickly.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Yes. So 803-404-6100. So yesterday we also got a little more word on this spring game. These spring games are evolving and evolving quickly, and it's happening right in front of our eyes, from no spring games to we're going to scrimmage another spring game if you're another team if you're Deion Sanders, to yesterday learning that South Carolina basically was given an option by the SEC Network on what they wanted to do with potential televising of their spring game.
Yeah, so if you're planning on watching the spring game without coming to Columbia, it's not happening. They will not be airing the spring game over TV. So what they will be doing instead is they will be producing a behind-the-scenes look at the spring for ESPN. Clemson is also doing the same thing. I imagine more programs are going to do this also. So while we all made fun of Matt Rule and all the coaches kind of came out and said, Matt Rule's maybe Matt Rule's onto something, because the reason why they're not showing this spring game is so that we can't see it. And best believe that this quote-unquote behind-the-scenes video will show nothing. There will be nothing of any substance that you see on these behind-the-scenes video. You'll see every pass being caught. You'll see every drill being run properly, every block being made, and I'm sure every program will look tremendous. You will feel very good about the team when you finish watching this behind-the-scenes option that they have elected to create.
So a couple of things here. They also put out yesterday the spring game, because of, like you said, not going to be televised, the spring game fan experience. Have you seen some of this?
I have not.
All right. It says, obviously, the game is going to take place Friday night at 7:30. It'll be Friday night, April 18th. Got to admit, I might be at the Heritage for the – and I'm going to come back to why I say that in a minute. There will be auctions and experiences that fans can participate to enhance your spring game forever Garnet Memories experience. Fans are also able to bid now on auctions, which include a VIP experience for 4, watching warm-ups and 2001 from the field, or riding the cocky boost onto the field.
Okay.
That's just cocky to the greatest entry. By the way I read this is that this means you will experience those at the spring game.
Yeah.
Not at an actual game. All kinds of stuff for that. Gates will open for the spring game at 6 p.m. Parking in Gamecock Park and Woodstock lots will be free. Quad 1 parking in the Gamecock Park will open at 3:30, and they'll have some other parking as well. And then, as you said, this year's game will not be broadcast on a linear or digital video, but will be carried live right here on 107.5 The Game with an airtime of 6:30. And instead, Gamecock fans will be able to get a behind-the-scenes look at spring football practice as part of a South Carolina all-access practice show that will air later this spring and multiple times this summer on the SEC Network.
It's not all access when you control my access. That's not all access.
So they're not like Shane Bieber's not having a private meeting. They don't go bust in with the cameras.
Yeah, that's not. I think we've lost the plot on what all access means. That's not all. All access is when I can watch the spring game with my eyes and see what's happening. That's access. It's not access if you control the angles and you control what I'm being. That's not all.
So who
access.
do you think made this call?
Jeremiah Donati.
Do you?
I mean, he's the athletic director.
You don't think he goes to Shane Beamer and is like, hey, what would you rather have? We got to do one or the other. What would you rather have done?
Maybe.
I mean, who makes that call?
I don't. That's a good. Maybe they're in cahoots, but
I guess does the SEC network? I don't know what is more cost efficient for them to show up at 3 or 4 practices and get footage, because you're not doing 14. You're not. I mean, I get. I don't. Maybe you do have maybe you got students here that are out there for 13 practices, and they're getting little clips here, little clips here. But most of these all-access things, it's a 30-minute show, and that's not 30 minutes of all-access. That's, 21 minutes with 9 minutes of commercials? So there's going to be some kind of, we went to Fort Jackson and we did this, or we went over here and we did some charity stuff, and, here's an interview with Dylan Stewart and Lenore Sellers. Look at them being funny. Oh, look, there was a pass thrown right there, and look at that running through the tackles.
Absolutely.
And they do that. They put it in that slow motion too, with a little background music.
Yes, little slow music, little hype music behind in the background. Everybody's catching everything. You'll probably see. I would imagine you'll see Luke Day yelling something. You're like, "Let's go! We got to stretch, Gamecocks!" Something like that. You'll see the stretching, a lot of hitting.
You're going to start. It's going to start off with Shane Beamer in the initial meeting talking about 9-3 is behind us.
Yes,
9-4 is behind us.
We can do this. We can produce this whole thing.
Defensive guys, look around. Look to your left and look to your right. Do you recognize who you're sitting next to right now?
Now you're cooking.
And then you've got the voice comes in. After a 9-4 season, Shane Beamer kicks off his 2025 campaign with his South Carolina Gamecocks with high expectations. And it cuts to the field. Shane's like, all right, let's go. New season, new guys. It's all behind us.
Pan to Lenore Sellers, show a quick clip of him running against Clemson. We got this produced already. We can do this.
Then you cut to an interview with him. Yeah.
We've seen this already. Yeah, this is disappointing in my opinion.
Really?
Because, again, I don't know if I was even actually planning, but to say that we were getting all access, it's not access. Just let me watch the game.
Okay.
If you don't want to watch the game, then that's fine. This is very quickly moving to we are eliminating the spring games.
803-404-6100. We got a lot coming up. Toby Edwards will be joining us later on this hour as we will talk about the upcoming Carolina Cup down in Camden and get you the information on that. Should be a lot of fun for 2025, and we'll also catch up with we'll talk more about this, because I'll talk about this as well. I'm not sure. And it's not anybody's fault, but the way Shane Beamer has done these spring games, I'm not sure what we're getting. And I'll circle back to that, too, just watching it. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
Okay.
We are officially making that transition where maybe in the morning or maybe right before you go to bed, you got to cut the heat on. You don't want it to be too chilly when you wake up. I think it was around 50 this morning. But then you come home, it's supposed to be around 80 this afternoon. You might want to cut the air conditioner on. Well, that puts stress on your heating and air unit, and it's time for you to call AAA Heating and Air, because when it comes to HVAC replacements or HVAC sales, AAA Heating and Air is the go-to name in the Midlands. Trust me, I've used AAA Heating and Air at my house. house. About 2.5 years ago, they came and put a brand new train unit in. Not only was their professionalism incredible, the cleanup, but they explained how it would help save money with my electric bill, and they are ready to help you right now with guaranteed financing, no payments or interest for 12 months, and a 15-year parts and labor warranty. It's no wonder they're the absolute best in the business. Give them a phone call, 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Still a couple accidents that I need to make you aware of. Kelly Mill Road at EJW Road. I-77 southbound at mile marker 4. I-77 northbound at exit 1. And also an accident Bluff Road near Rosewood Drive. 82, soak it up today, mostly sunny. That's the high we're looking for. Tomorrow, a few showers, kind of breezy. Showers more so in the morning. 68 will be our high. And then on Friday, sunny and 66. So kicking off spring with a few showers tomorrow. And then we get some more spring-like temperatures in the 70s over the weekend. Right now, though, it's 43.
All right, let's do it again, Jen. Let's give away 2 teams, one to caller 6, one to caller 8 for our 107.5 The Game bracket contest. Caller 6 and 8, you can win, or I don't know how to word it. You can tell I've struggled with this for 2 days. We will assign you a team from our 107.5 The Game bracket contest. So we've got 2 teams available right now. Give us a phone call, 803-404-6100. We'll again take callers 6 and 8, and you will receive a team. And if they win the NCAA tournament, you can win season tickets for the rest of the Gamecock baseball season. So go ahead, give us a phone call, 803-404-6100, how you can win or, again, be assigned those teams right now. Let's go back to the spring game thing for a second. It forces people to come. It forces people to come. But does it actually get more people in the stadium?
No.
7:30 on a Friday night. Easter weekend, by the way. RBC Heritage will be taking place the week after the Masters. Gamecock Baseball has a game that Friday. They'll play Mississippi at 4 o'clock. So I guess technically you could make it a full Gamecock baseball day. I know, at least I'll speak for me and my kids, that is spring break week for them also, Preston. That's Lexington District 1. But the South Carolina Baseball would have a game at 4 o'clock at Founders Park, and then you'd have the spring game at 7:30 just down the road at Williams-Brice Stadium. But does not televising it. And basically, because at least in the past, you've been able to go back and stream it on the SEC Network Plus and catch up with it or rewatch it a few times. You're not going to be able to do that at all this year.
No, it's not going to be available to you. I don't think it gets more people. I don't think people are like, well, I can't watch it on TV. I got to make my way to Columbia. I don't think that happens. So the people that were coming will be there, but also it's on a Friday night, so it's sort of squeezing folks that have it on Saturdays anyway. This is all part of them sunsetting the spring game. You can put that on me. I said that, Preston Thorne. But this is all part of them trying to lessen the meaning of the spring game as an event.
And this is not a knock on Shane Beamer, because of the first year he didn't have enough players. I'll never forget Heath Klein sitting up there and I trying to broadcast the game, and we didn't know who the running back was. It turned out to be Jaheim Bell. But they struggled, so they did things for like 30 minutes. Last year we talked about it. Yeah, we loved Lenore Sellers. We proclaimed him as the Heisman favorite, probably the national championship winner, so forth and so on. But remember, he didn't throw a downfield pass at all last year. Dow Loggins basically limited him to about 4 to 6 yard passes. And so you kind of came out of there like, all right, what did I just watch? What did we just garner for this? Because you remember the spring game. I mean, to me, you participated in one of the most famous spring games of all time.
Okay.
Corey Jenkins, our good buddy, Lexington athletic director, Dustin Curtis, walked out of what would that have been, the 2002 spring game? That's right. Jenkins going into a start. Jenkins, I'll never forget Dustin Curtis looking at me and going, that's the next Michael Vick. And somebody else that day was basically ready to take the scene as the next great South Carolina wide receiver.
Okay. Okay. It's coming back to me a little bit.
Taquay Muhammad we've had over 200 yards receiving that day. Just kept running down the sideline and catching passes from Corey Jenkins. And that's kind of my spring game memory, is like how good that was. But I've watched them evolve, because I've gone to spring games since I was younger. I've got actually pictures of like being able to go in the locker room or something, and Mike Hold like holding me and meeting players and giving high fives that my family took. But yeah, now you get excited. It's almost more about the tailgating and the family camaraderie than it is about the game.
And that's fine. But guess what? If it's on a Friday evening, that limits that opportunity for a lot of you. So yes, okay. If the spring game is not going to be purely about X's and O's, we already know the coaches are saying that they're staying vanilla, whatever that means. So we're taking that out of the equation. We just want to show up and have ball on a spring Saturday. Just want to show up. It's the spring game for the fans, too. Getting our tailgates ready. This is what we're doing here. Again, it's a relaxed atmosphere. Everybody's out there. There's no worrying about if we're going to win or lose. There's no rankings. It's just a really celebration of everybody's appreciation of the sport. And of
it's
the
almost,
culture.
to me, at times, another sign that spring is technically here.
That's another part of it. Another aspect of this idea. The atmosphere is laid back. It's relaxed. There's no space for that in the new age of college athletics, where everything has to be driven by a profit motive. So yeah, you can market, and again, this is me, but I'd be surprised if you see more of these.
spring games, or I can see, because Shane Beamer said he'd like to continue having the spring game. I think he got caught in a little bit of a bind because he likes having it late, and with Easter being late, he didn't want to have it on that Saturday. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, because he's mentioned for recruiting purposes, this is still a very good tool.
They'll find a new tool.
Okay.
I just don't think that this is going to be a thing for much longer.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on that. A couple of y'all have a little bit. Texter says, show producer thing was gold. So spot on. Thank you for the laugh this morning. And then also Douglas waited. Don't forget the all-access weight room clip. I forgot about that. Where they're in there and you get the voice. They've been working hard all winter to prepare for their spring practice.
Yeah, and with the weight room clip, you won't see the whole rep. You'll see the bottom of the rep or the top of the rep. So you don't even know if they actually did it. You'll just see them going underneath the squat rack. It's like, he's going to get this 7 million pounds.
And slowed down, too.
Yes.
Slowed down.
Yes.
So, yeah, we can use your help continuing to produce this 30-minute
We already got it done
all
for
access.
you.
Yeah.
It's already done.
Justin King saw this and was like, we got most of the content already.
just running what we did before.
Yeah, we're good to go here. 803-404-6100. Carolina Cup coming up in 2 weeks, 9 days, 21 hours, 34 minutes away. We'll talk with Toby Edwards. I got to learn about the Corgi. I got to get more information on the Corgi racing from the Colonial Cup that was back in November. And we got to see if we got more Corgi racing coming up, as well as the Carolina Cup starting on Saturday, March 29th. We'll talk with Toby Edwards when we come back. You're listening to The Early Game. Bill Gunner for Old Timey Meat Market, where it's going to be a glorious night. We got more basketball on with the NCAA. If you want to watch some college baseball, you can go onto the streaming networks and see that. And that also means it's a great night to grill out. And the Gunner family, me, Ansley, Austin, we love nothing than going and hitting up Old Timey Meat Market. Austin prefers their steaks. Ansley loves their salmon. I go with the Italian chicken skewers. And you know what? That's the great thing about Old Timey Meat Market. They got something for the whole family, for mom, for dad, for the kids. You know what? Even the pets will love the leftovers if there is any. So go by one of their 3 locations today. St. Andrews Road in Irmo, South Congaree, or, of course, the Lexington store. And not only check out all their great items like steak, pork chops, chicken, salmon, but they've got hot dogs in there. They've got chicken wings in there. They've got everything you can think of, and it'll provide a great family dinner. So stop by Old Timey Meat Market today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Ooh, that air kicked on behind me somewhere.
Bluff Road at Rosewood Drive, an accident there. Also want to let you know about Hardscrabble at Clemson. I-77 northbound at Highway 1, or at Exit 1. So I-77 northbound there at Exit 1. I-77 northbound at Killian Road. I-77 southbound at mile marker 4. And Kelly Mill Road at EJW Road. Those accidents still all in progress. Be careful out there. Sunny and 82. That's what we're looking for today. Your first day of spring tomorrow. Get a few spring showers in the morning. Going to be breezy. 68 for the high. Right now, it's 43 on the early game.
$7:31 as we get you up and get you going here, and want to remind you, as always, not only can you join us each and every morning here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, or 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, you can go and join us on our live streaming YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and check out The Game TV Radio, where you can hop in, where Craig, Stephen, Hope, John are all in there hanging out and discussing sports, whether it's Nick Emanwari's 43-inch vertical.
That's crazy. That's a number. You see what I'm saying? When you hear number, you're like, what?
We'll come back to that. Steven saying he wants a 3-game home-and-home series, I guess, every other year against Charleston. So you can go in there and join them as they chatted up this morning. Just, again, go to YouTube and go to the Game TV Radio to be a part of that. Join now, as we like to do in the spring and in the fall, by Toby Edwards with the Carolina Cup. And Mr. Edwards, welcome back in. I hope you've got your bow tie ready, because in just about 9 days, it's time to break it out. 9 days, 21 hours, and 27 minutes until we're racing.
Thanks for the countdown. You're right. Got my bow tie ready to rock and roll. Thanks for having me, guys.
Now, when do you officially pick out your new bow tie, your 2025 racing bow tie? Is that like a Christmas item? You're like, all right, I'm going to purchase this. Does it come closer to the race when you're feeling the weather a little bit more? How do you orchestrate that?
Well, I'm not a bow tie wearer.
Oh.
I did wear a Brackish bow tie one year that was given to me by Brackish to push their merch, but I'm a more traditionalist. I like a regular tie, and I like to try to pick out something that is race related in some way, shape, or form. And of course, it has to match my jacket and my shirt.
Well, going with matching the jacket and shirt, you have to go. Is it more pastels, color wise, or what are you going traditional gray? What are you doing with that?
I'm traditional. But look, we love to see the guys. We see some great outfits out there on race day, and of course, it's always fun to see them matching up with their girls on the day and out there on a beautiful spring day.
Well, yeah, you go make sure you go and purchase your tickets on the website, carolinacup.org, and the schedule of events is up, and it's a full family event, because I was thinking of the bow tie, because on the picture here, there's a young gentleman wearing a nice little pink and blue bow tie and having a good time, and there's a kids zone that'll be open at 10 a.m. And Toby, tell everybody a little bit about that kids zone. For people to think, oh boy, this is just kind of more of a college or adult scene. You guys do a good job of also getting the youngsters out there and letting them check out the horses and having a kids zone that's open.
That's right. The True Vista Kids Zone open all day. All those activities in the Kids Zone are free for children all day, and children 12 and under are free into the event. So it really is a great time to bring out the family and get out there, enjoy some horse racing. Of course, we got lots of shopping in the paddock shops. Couple of competitions, tailgate competition, and we have the hat contest as well. So lots of things to do on top of watching 6 fantastic horse races in the afternoon.
All right, now just I won't spend a lot of time on this, but I looked at the schedule. I did not see the Corgi racing. Is that only a fall item?
The corgis the corgis have got to train up for the fall races, so we'll see them come back in November the 23rd of next year. We will have the second annual Corgi Cup. Huge success in the fall, and it was fantastic to watch. Those things, they're not particularly fast. They're quite low to the ground, but it's just a fun thing to watch those dogs racing.
All right. So with the 6 different races, what is the difference between all of these races that will be happening?
Yeah. So the feature race of the day, the Carolina Cup, presented by MUSC Health, that is a $75,000 race for novice horses, so for younger horses who are up and coming in their career, and I'm gonna throw out a horse for everybody. Last year that race was won by a local trainer and jockey, and I think they're gonna do the repeat. So I think China Beach, trained by Kate Dalton and ridden by Bernie Dalton, my money's going to be riding on them on race day. And then underneath that race, we have a couple of maiden races. So for horses that have never won before, we have a flat race at the end of the day. So it's a mixed bag of races, attracting horses at varying stages of their careers.
Always a great event, and make sure you go and check out the website carolinacup.org, where again you can go on there and they've got tickets and pricing, and you definitely want to go ahead and start purchasing your tickets there, as they've got general admission tickets right now, $50 a day of the race. It'll be cash, $60 at the gate, debit or credit card $50 at the gate, but you can go ahead and purchase your race day tickets ahead of time, and general parking is $10. So give us a little background here. We're 9 days away. I always ask this, but where we are in terms of getting the course set up, getting the field set up, and just getting all the vendors up and going, because I know that's a lot to undertake when you're putting on a great event like this.
Well, it is. And look, I'm turning around, looking out of my office window across the race course, and I bet I can see close to 100 tents already in place, looking directly at the Michelob Ultra post and paddock luncheon tent, that's a great ticket option if you're looking to come, and we provide a full bar and food for you all day, and then you can enjoy the races from there. That tent is right by the paddock where the horses parade before each race, so a good spot. So we are probably 2/3 of the way through setup, and next week we'll start putting the finishing touches on everything and have the place ready to roll for when gates open on the 29th at 9 a.m.
Yeah, it's, again, a lot of fun down there. A reminder, go to carolinacup.org, where you can check out the whole website. I got a tab at the top, and you can check out tickets and pricing. As Mr. Edwards is saying, the schedule of events, and you can check out all the great things. And again, let's repeat what all kind of goes in this 6. You got a lot going on. Actually, let me go back and read some of this just so people can kind of be prepared, because we mentioned the kids zone, but also the hat judging contest will take place at 11:30. So, ladies, make sure you get the proper hat set up. You got a great color presentation at about 12:50, the national anthem at 12:55, and then the horses to the paddock starting at 1 o'clock. And you mentioned it's 6 different races.
6 different races. That's right. So, first race at 1:30, and we race about every 35 minutes. So the first 5 races are jump races, and then the last race is a flat race.
Before we let you out of here, I think one of the last times Preston was here, we had some soccer thoughts. Do I remember that correctly?
We do. So look, we got to give a shout out to Newcastle.
I was going to ask what you thought. What is that, first cup in 70 years? Am I right on that?
First cup in 70 years. A great mate of mine grew up there, and he'd been going to football games since he was a nipper. He moved over here to New Hampshire. He went back especially for that game, and he supported that team through thick and thin. The first time he's seen them raise a big trophy, so he was hugely excited.
Go ahead.
Sir, I believe you called somebody a nipper.
A nipper.
We don't have that word in South Carolina. Can you please give us what that word means?
A young'un.
Now I know what a youngin is. There you go. I like it.
Yeah. So fantastic for Newcastle. Yeah, great game too. I enjoyed watching it.
Thoughts on how the Premier League is starting to wrap up with Liverpool, Arsenal. I think it's Chelsea is still in there a little bit. Your thoughts on what you're watching there?
I think Liverpool are going to come out. I think that they're going to be smarting a little bit after that defeat, and they're going to put their heads down and plow through and win the whole thing.
He's taking Liverpool. All right. Before we let you go, any thoughts on Preston's Tottenham Hotspurs that are they're a mess right now?
Tottenham Hotspur, yeah. Preston might be time to pick another club, don't you think?
Well, listen,
Are you on a free agent contract like with the Vikings?
I'm not opposed to it. I have a free agent in both my footballs this year, so maybe this is the right time to do it.
It might be, because you could do worse than just throw a dart and see what team you land on.
Toby, we appreciate it. Look forward to having a great event. Again, that is coming up in 9 days. We're not far away. Saturday, March the 29th. 9 days, 21 hours, 18 minutes away. Go to carolinacup.org. That's where you can check out the race schedule, but you can also purchase tickets. And, Toby, we know you're going to make sure the weather is absolutely immaculate on one of the last days of March.
Well, the weather's going to be perfect, and I've got to give a shout-out to Mike Mathis, who runs my crew outside. They do a fantastic job, and they're already out there working this morning, and they'll be hard at it all the way through to the 29th.
Look forward to it, buddy. Well, Toby, we always appreciate it. Good luck with that Newcastle team as they move through, and we look forward to catching up with you maybe after the event to hear how it goes.
Yeah, super. And maybe some of you will see you out here race day.
Definitely. So it sounds like a plan.
Right, guys.
Take care.
Thanks for the call.
Appreciate it.
Again, check out the website, carolinacup.org. Toby Edwards down there, and it's going to be a great day. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. It's a Preston Thorne segment when we come back.
You've inspired this, Bill.
Be prepared. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. Tax season is here, and I know you're doing your taxes, and if you are getting a mean, nasty notice back, the IRS is on your case and trying to get you in a little bit of trouble, it's time for you to call John Ecton and his team. It all starts with a free consultation. So make that phone call today, 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. But let me tell you, time is of the essence. John Ecton and his team have a local team dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good. And let me tell you, they've been helping families just like yours, whether it's, again, the personal or the business. They've been helping them deal with the IRS maze. So give them a phone call, 803-771-9800. That's how you can reach out to John Ecton and his team today. Get the free consultation. So call John Ecton today and tell him Bill Gunner sent you. 7:49 on a Wednesday morning, March the 19th, as we keep an eye up on our TVs here for the Tokyo series, where it's now 6-3, Dodgers over the Cubs. Shohei Ohtani has gone deep, first one of the year, Preston.
Super cool. Super cool. The hometown hero, home countryman comes home and delivers a bomb, I might add. It was a no-doubter.
Yeah, the Ohtani there gets a home run, and the Dodgers up 6-3. That one in the top of the sixth. 803-404-6100. Want to remind you, we just talked about the Carolina Cup. That's on Saturday, March the 29th. Well, how about our 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic on Friday, March the 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. This year, we're partnering up with Lexington County Gamecock Club. Give us a call today and get your foursome registered. 803-755-2000. Again, it's 803-755-2000. So come on out, have fun with us. That'll be Friday, March the 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. Again, we're partnering up with Lexington County Gamecock Club. So go ahead, make plans. Friday the 28th, be a part of the golf tournament. Saturday the 29th, go down to the Carolina Cup. Make for a busy weekend, Preston Thorne.
Sounds like a fun weekend. Sounds like full of events.
And it's going to be opening weekend for Major League Baseball. It'll be Sweet 16 and Elite 8 weekend, none of which will include the West Virginia basketball team.
And another thing, Bill, we didn't have a chance to properly go over this. Hey, listen, Governor Patrick Morrisey, what are you doing? Why would you get in front of a sign, have a special sign made up that says, the National Corrupt Athletic Association? Very clever, Governor. Why would you do that if you are the governor of the state? I'm sure you have more important things than to argue whether or not your mediocre team, who was 10-10 in the Big 12, who also lost to the last place team in your Big 12 tournament, arguing about whether or not they should be involved in the NCAA tournament. That is a ridiculous use of your time, your power. I'm pretty sure the people in West Virginia did not elect you for this, for you to be doing this. I'm pretty sure. He called it a miscarriage of justice and robbery at the highest level.
Oh, my word.
This is the governor.
Drama queen? Jeez.
You think? He also then went on to say, like, maybe it was a little bit of retribution because he had filed a suit against the NCAA early. He went every possible way. He's called it a miscarriage of justice, conspiracy theory. He went all the way. Also, he had the sign behind him that said the National Corrupt Athletic Association. I'm sure he was very, very, very original with that one.
So who paid for that sign?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. My people. my people. But it doesn't stop there, Bill. Because while the governor was making a big stink about it, the athletic director was also making a big stink about it. He had a long statement about why the West Virginia Mountaineers should have been in the tournament. But you know who was not making a big stink about it?
The head coach.
Haven't heard a peep from him.
Well, of course you haven't.
Why haven't we heard a peep from him, Bill?
He was just hired by Indiana yesterday afternoon. He was busy doing some other stuff. He was like, I don't really want to coach another game. I'm kind of okay with this.
The whole time while the governor and the AD's going off, the head coach is like, shh. How can I get my stuff out of my office sooner? Do we have to go play?
Here's the thing also, and I think it's Darren DeVries.
Probably DeVries.
DeVries
is my guess.
He, you know how, y'all want to guess how many seasons he was there? 1.
Oh.
Now, here's where the story...
One and done.
Here's where it gets better, Bill. Because Indiana, have you fallen from grace? You hired a 10-10 coach?
Yeah.
This was interesting because there was a lot of names that were thrown around, and one of which that I kind of picked up on at the beginning of the week, Brad Burnell.
Who was asked about the job and never said no. He said he loved it at Clemson. He's happy with his job.
I don't know who might have been a little more surprised, Brad Burnell's people or the West Virginia governor and AD was like, wait, what are we fighting for? And you're out the back door?
But wait a second, Bill. This story gets even better because as Darren DeVries is leaving, he's also taking his best player, who is his son, Tucker DeVries. I'm pretty sure Tucker's not going to be staying at West Virginia. I imagine Tucker will be entering the transfer portal with his father and making that. So this all poses a question, Bill. Has enough time passed that we can bring Huggy Bear back.
Nah, yes, for me.
You see what Patino's doing? Hey, can we bring Huggy Bear back?
Yes, for me. Probably not for West Virginia and or most of the NCAA basketball
Look
world.
at Patino, man. Patino's out there balling. We want Huggy Bear.
At least we ain't. At least we ain't West Virginia.
There you go.
Just some stuff there. Hour 3 on the way. We'll get back into some football talk. You're listening to the early game.
Press here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshield, no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are. School, home, work, it does not matter. Absolute Glass will come out and take care of the job for you. Now, if you're at home and you're looking to increase the value of your home, you could do that with new windows or mirrors. And Absolute Glass will come out and take care of that for you, too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Bluff Road at Rosewood still have an accident. They're working there, as well as Hardscrabble at Clemson. I-77 northbound at Killian. I-77 southbound at mile marker 4, still an accident in the works there. Highway 321 near Pine Ridge Drive at Sandhills Parkway. And getting things cleaned up, Kelly Mill Road at EJW Road. That forecast, it's a little bit of, kind of a little bit of everything. 82, sunny today. First day of spring tomorrow, getting a few spring showers in the morning. It's going to be kind of breezy. 68 will be the high. And then on Friday, going to be sunny and 66, mid 70s to get us through the weekend with sunny conditions. So beautiful weekend on tap. Right now, we are sitting at 42.
8 a.m. on the dot as we get you up and get you going on a Wednesday morning. Hope you're doing well. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, as we enjoy relevant live sports. I'm sure we could flip over and find something going on in the sporting world from across the pond somewhere each and every morning, Preston. But Major League Baseball, their start to the season, the Tokyo series yesterday, the Dodgers knocked off the Cubs, and at this point, the Dodgers are up 6-3 on the Cubbies. So at least we've had live sports that I would say, care about as opposed to others that we may not.
Yeah, and I got to see Ohtani go deep.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was a no-doubter. It was like, oh, okay, that's why he's the guy.
I'm sure we could somewhere on one of the channels find Australian cricket, but we don't know the rules to that. We don't know exactly how it goes, but the Dodgers up. So we've been kind of just keeping an eye on that and trying to keep Jen happy as her Cubbies looking to go now 0-2 to start the season. As Preston said yesterday, 162-0. Maybe that's not in the still in the goals list. 161-1 was, well, now it might be 160-2.
A lot of season left.
There's a lot of season. And you're starting with the Dodgers. So that game again, 6-3 in the top of the seventh. Last night, North Carolina. Oh, did they show us all? Did they prove to us that they deserve to be? Was that it last night? Just hammer San Diego State? Wild stat. I saw yesterday via Barstool Sports, Hubert Davis, 8-1 against the spread in his NCAA tournament games.
March Hubie.
Well, I think it's actually, I don't know if you got, I don't think your daughter's old enough, but they got Hubie, I think it's Hubie Halloween, which is Adam Sandler and one of his characters. Right. So you got Hubie March.
Hubie March, all right. So it might be his thing. Now, in defense of North Carolina, right, there's a lot of arguments as to why they should not have been in the tournament. Cool. But the difference between them and what I would argue is West Virginia is that North Carolina was essentially a free throw lane violation away from beating Duke in the ACC tournament, right? And they could have won. They were in that game. They lost to Duke. They didn't lose to Colorado. I'm not saying that they should be in, but would you be surprised if they made a run?
Oh. This is where we got to go back and really break down. We got to do our super sporty breakdown of the NCAA tournament bracket. Iowa State is going to be their opponent coming up on Friday. I don't see them getting past that. And then Marquette, potentially. Marquette's got a game against, Ole Miss is who they play. I'm looking at the bracket incorrectly. Mississippi on Friday. Yeah, I can see them getting past Mississippi. That's one of those games right there that the SEC has to win. That's a must-win for the SEC.
I hear you.
Not because it's just because, all right, we've beat our chest. We've told you how great the conference is. We're awesome. We're better than everybody else. North Carolina shouldn't have been in or has questionable resumes and everything. And that's a game that, like, that's a blow to the ego of the SEC also, if you lose that game.
Right, because we're pounding our chest saying we're the best conference. We have 14 teams, and then we lose to one of their worst teams. I guess when I'm looking at this, North Carolina, I don't think should have been in. However, if they make a run, that doesn't prove that they should have been in. The selection criteria is based on what you did, not your potential to make a run in the future. So, I mean, if they did, that's good for them, but I still don't think they should have been in.
I'm just looking at it. Iowa State is who they would get in the second round, provided Iowa State does not get upset by Lipscomb. Marquette, Michigan State kind of round out the 2 and the 7 seeds. New Mexico's the 10 seed there in their bottom half of the bracket. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, look, they're talented players.
$500. Lipscomb State City.
Oh, it's in Tennessee. I want to say Nashville, but I get them in Belmont confused with where they are at. I want to say if you're for $500, I'd say Nashville. If I got no odds against me, yeah, Nashville.
It's big time, sir.
It's actually a great question for some of these smaller teams that are, because I'll just go one below. So I got that one. I can't get the one I'm about to give you. Bryant,
Oklahoma.
I don't know.
No?
That's not the same one.
Okay. All right. Bryant College, Bryant University. What are we doing?
Also, that could have been part of the question.
The Bryant Bulldogs.
This is
Smithfield, Rhode Island.
This is Rhode Island. Okay, yeah, you beat me to it. First in the American East.
Okay.
I know they were I knew they were a Northeastern team. I didn't realize they're coached by Phil Martelli Jr. This is the fun of the NCAA
Learn
tournament.
something new every day. This is seriously when I was teaching geography. Every year at this time, I would give the same lesson. It was to make your NCAA brackets geographically correct. So you'd have to figure out which teams were in the East, the West, the South, the North. You may learn about where Lipscomb was or where the Bryant Bulldogs played. So this was a guaranteed ace of an assignment every single year.
This is. I'm just trying to now. This is why you can't trust the internet, right?
Are they not in Smithfield, Rhode Island?
No, that I go with.
Okay.
But normally I go to Wikipedia and try and just make sure we got some stuff. So I'm going Smithfield, Rhode Island. I believe that's correct. However, it says NCAA Tournament runner-up 2005, NCAA Tournament Final Four 2005, NCAA Tournament Elite Eight 2005. Does anybody remember Bryant being in the Final Four into the? And by the way, there's they finally at the very bottom in smaller print at the Division II level.
Hey, listen.
Very smooth to the Wikipedia. Whoever edited from Bryant.
Listen, they were in the tournament at the Division II level.
There you go. So yeah, to answer your question, North Carolina, I could see them making a run. Yeah. I could see them making a run. They're not bad players. I mean, that's not a cast of gritty, hard-nosed underdogs. That's a bunch of 4 and 5 stars rocking up and down that roster. Right. They're fine. They're fine. I'm just looking. That brings up an interesting question. We're going to get to football in the next segment and go back to yesterday. The SEC, we talked about this a little bit a while ago, and obviously you don't want to have the big upsets, and I don't even mean Alabama, Auburn, and Alabama State. You certainly don't want to have that, but you don't want to have like the number 4 seed Texas A&M team lose to number 13 Yale.
No,
right? You don't. That's not what you want. But I'm looking at the games that I'm going to list as like these are games that show me your conference was as good as you said it was. All right, so I've got a couple right here that I think are defining games for us to come in on Monday and be like, oh, yeah, okay, the SEC, you lived up to your 14 games. I mentioned right there Mississippi and North Carolina. That's a huge one. Mississippi, we've banged our chest. You're supposed to be better than a team that barely snuck into the tournament, right? Here's another one. Mississippi State and Baylor. Remember, West Virginia didn't get in because of, the Big 12 wasn't that great. Baylor's a 9, Mississippi State's an 8. That one's a lot closer, but that's another one you circle right there and be like, all right, SEC, you're so big and bad, and Josh Hubbard, you shoot a lot of threes, and that game will be played in Raleigh, and that game will be played on Friday. You circle that one, and you're like, Mississippi State's got to win that one, right? Okay. Another one, can't have the upset here. Missouri, a 6 seed, 22-11, can't lose to Drake, 30-3. Can anybody name us where Drake is at? We've given you. We got Lipscomb.
You got Lipscomb. There was no shot for your boy.
Bryant, I wasn't going to get. We did this actually off air. I was way off air. I wasn't actually completely way off. It was a Midwestern team. Drake is in Des Moines, Iowa. Didn't have that one. We were saying off air because we were talking about that West Virginia situation and the whole basketball situation. But yeah, Drake in Des Moines. I didn't have that one. But right, Preston, Missouri can't lose to Drake. You're big and you're bad and you're supposed to win.
Yeah, because that's what we've been saying all year is that the SEC was the toughest conference and we beat each other up. But when we go to play these other teams from other conferences, we should be superior.
Let me give you one more. Kansas against Arkansas and John Calipari. Now, Kansas is a 7 seed. Arkansas is a 10. I could also give you Georgia Gonzaga. I could give you Vanderbilt St. Mary's. We got a couple of those. But Kansas and Arkansas. Kansas wasn't good this year.
They weren't good this year.
They fell out of top 25, 7 seed. Arkansas was not good to start conference play, got better. Then we embarrassed them here. gave them a scare in the SEC tournament. I know Arkansas's banged up, but you got to win that one, right?
Yes. I mean, I think they have
These are 4 of the 7 games that I just gave you.
They have to advance.
I mean, the other ones are Florida, Auburn, Alabama's on here somewhere. I mean, I just went down all those. I said 4 of the 7, but the 7 because I'd throw Georgia and Georgia and Vanderbilt, but I kind of don't count those.
Georgia and Gonzaga.
Georgia's a 9, Gonzaga's an 8. So that's why I don't throw it. Again, there was 7 that I kind of had circled, 14 total games, 14 teams in the league. You can figure that out. Texas, by the way. Is Texas a big one tonight? Texas Xavier. Is Texas a must-win for the SEC to pound our chest? And did we technically get 14 teams in if Texas is eliminated tonight?
Now that's the type.
Or
of
does Texas actually get sent back to the NIT and we remove another team from the NIT?
That's the kind of questions I like. If they don't, is it really 14 if they don't make it into 64?
I say no. I'm nostalgic. There's 64 teams in this thing.
I like your logic.
I like, by the way, I like the 11 seeds having to play each other to get in the tournament. I hate forcing the 16 seeds who won their conference to have to play a play-in game in Dayton. That's unfair. The fun part is being in the tournament, being there on Thursday, Friday. The 16 seeds should automatically get in. You want to make it a fair play-in, make the 11s and the 12s play each other.
I agree with that.
803-404-6100. We'll get back into some football talk. Clayton White speaking yesterday. Was he surprised at all at Nick Eamon-Warry's performance at the NFL Combine? And we'll also talk a little of development with Preston Thorne and listen to Clayton White. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It is the early game.
Press here for our friends at Integrated Media. We've been telling you all along that you need to get yourself ready, and now the spring is here. Spring has sprung. All of the major March events are happening. Basketball, golf, baseball, all of these things are happening, and you need to be prepared so you can watch all of them outdoors. Do you want to have a Samsung Terrace TV that's waterproof so you can watch TV? You want to have Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music? Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors so you can have all your screens. You can have multiple screens going at the same time. One on basketball, one on golf, one on baseball. Well, call the folks at Integrated Media. From home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you need to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or you can reach them online at integratedmediainc.com.
Can I just start out by saying the Cubs stink? Okay, thank you. Traffic-wise, Cedar Crest near Freedom Drive, there's an accident there. Also, Dutch Fork Road near Three Dog. Hard scrabble at Clemson Road. I-20 westbound at Highway 378, an accident. I-77 northbound at Killian Road. 321 near Pine Ridge. And, Charleston Highway near 12th Street, also a report of an accident. We are looking for a high today of about 81, 82, mostly sunny conditions. First day of spring tomorrow, a couple showers, breezy, 68 for the high. Sunny and 66 on Friday. Get back into the 70s for the weekend with lots of sunshine. But right now, we are sitting at a kind of a cool 43 on 107.5 The Game.
Eight zero 6100 as we get you up and get you going. A reminder about the Gamecock Traditions over-under contest. Go to the 107.5 The Game website, click on the contest tab, and pick the over-under on this week's contest correctly, and you could win a Gamecock Traditions gift card. So, again, go to 1075thegame.com, click on the contest tab, and pick the contest for this week. And if you pick correctly and we select you, you'll win a gift card for Gamecock Traditions. Again, go to 1075thegame.com, click on contest tab. It is the Gamecock Traditions over-under contest. You brought it up slightly in the previous segment. We were talking about the Nick Eamon-Warry vertical at the Combine, where he had a 43-inch vertical, and Eamon-Warry didn't need to do much yesterday. He just needed to stand there and look pretty and not fall down in any backpedaling drills, basically.
Yeah, he wasn't there for the testing. He had already aced his test at the Combine. He didn't need to do it again, put any doubt in people's minds or whatever the case was. So I think he just did position drills, like you said, some backpedaling, catch some balls, and then go talk to folks.
Yeah, I saw some social media stuff that he was kind of over there speaking. The Pittsburgh Steelers, by the way, seemed very active, or else they were just very happy to let everybody know what they're doing, because I saw on social media that he was speaking with a Pittsburgh Steelers defensive backs coach. I also saw last night that Mike Tomlin and two other coaches from Pittsburgh were in Alabama having dinner with Jalen Milroe, contemplating him for the number 21 pick. So, but Eamon-Warry yesterday didn't do the vertical, didn't broad jump, didn't have to lift weights, run. But his combine was so impressive that it put him in that position, and probably has solidified him, I would assume, in the first round. And even I've seen one mock draft having him up there at number 8. And Clayton White yesterday talked about why there was no surprise that Eamon-Warry performed the way he did at the Combine.
It's funny you say that because, I text Nick. I said, Nick, this is pretty cool, man. When everyone is kind of surprised at what you did, and me and you, we all knew the whole time. He said, Coach, that's the best part about it, that nobody really knew, and now everybody knows kind of, what we have brewing here at South Carolina, led by him at the Combine. A lot of guys, I thought, did pretty well at the Combine, but it was pretty cool letting the world know that we know. They kind of breed them a little different over here in the waters in South Carolina.
Let's start with this. You and I off air, and slightly on air, but off air, addressed this in the days after the bowl game. You figure it out. The miscommunication, it wasn't handled. Nobody's saying, I'm completely right, you're completely wrong. You hear Clayton White saying, I text with him. Nick Eamon-Warry, at least according to what Clayton White is giving South Carolina a vote of confidence. They're now learning what we're doing here. It behooves South Carolina to be like, all right, we didn't communicate this properly. And it looks like Nick's there yesterday. Because he's there, there's more scouts there. Because there's more scouts there, you're giving your teammates more opportunities. So many things went into yesterday, and I think it shows Shane Beamer, Nick Eamon-Warry, the people on both sides being level-headed and understanding, hey, we all made some mistakes here. I wish we could do it over. I wish we could get a replay on that. But we love you and you love us.
Yeah, let bygones be bygones. Like you said, it didn't work out properly, whatever the case was. We don't have to agree with each other. We don't even have to see, but you benefited us and we benefited you. We both had a mutually beneficial relationship for our whole time here. Let's make sure we end this thing on the right way, because as Nick's name gets plastered all over draft boards, national podcasts, it's going to be attached with South Carolina. And what you didn't want was a situation where there was some sort of split or strife, and now he wasn't attaching himself to South Carolina. So glad everything has worked out and they're moving forward.
Yeah, everybody was an adult about it. Again, nobody's saying, "Oh, you were completely right, you were completely wrong," whatever. But it's worked out. But let me ask you this, because Eamon Warrior is a very interesting recruiting situation. Mm-hmm. Did South Carolina develop Eamon Warrior, or did they hide him? And I can explain that in a second. I think you know the background on that story.
Okay. This is going to be for age of a certain demo right here. You ever go to Blockbuster and they only had one of your video?
I knew, yep. As soon as you said Blockbuster, I knew what you were going to say.
They had one of your video and you couldn't get it at that moment, or you had to come back the next day, so you put it behind another video and you go back there and it's still there and you can get it. That's essentially what South Carolina did with Eamon Warrior. He came to camp, had a lot of these measurables when he
so
came to
good.
Camp.
Now, I'm not talking like, he might work out.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And basically Clayton White's staff, because he's been here for 5 years now, basically they said, you come over here. Nobody else is going to see this guy. So, yes, to answer your question directly, they stashed him and then they developed him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, if you don't know that story, he was there. He went to camp. He was known. It wasn't like, oh, wait, check his name, check his birth certificate. Who is he? But, yeah, he did a few things, and he was so good, they basically were like, stop.
Yes.
We don't want any scouts reporting on you. We don't want anything. And then they were able to secure his commitment.
And by the time the big dogs really came sniffing around, they had basically had that lockdown. It didn't have to happen, so kudos to everybody who sealed the deal.
And I've talked with a couple people, JC, maybe we circle back to this next week. I mean, there's been people who are like, he would have been a borderline 5-star prospect. If he'd have done the big Under Armours and the Nikes and all those camps that these kids go to that I used to have to go and cover, and it's kind of a meat market. If he'd have done those, he'd have been a 5-star talent right on the border of it. Now, one thing that they got to do, though, is go out and develop more guys.
Yes.
You can't rely on Nick Eamon Warriors to come wandering through the door and stash them. Clayton White yesterday talking about this spring developing unproven guys. This is key. Unproven guys out of the transfer portal.
The first thing when you say development, we got to make sure they understand just how we do things here at South Carolina, first and foremost. Make sure they understand the lay of the land. They understand how we, just how we operate. And I think the second thing is we start football school every January, so we intently, with some intents, we attack that moment just to get them on the same page as far as just our defensive playbook and how we talk and how we walk. And then tomorrow's practice. And then we'll just really told those guys tomorrow to go out and fly around. Like, just fly around. Let me play football tomorrow. We don't have a ton of stuff on install 1, just so we can kind of assess what we have and then go from there.
Little post-traumatic stress disorder right there, PTSD, because Coach White, I know you weren't here roughly 11 years ago when I had to hear Lorenzo Ward explain at a Gamecock Club meeting, we got to get these guys to know how we do things around here. We don't do it the same as everybody else. We don't have to. And I'm not saying what Clayton White. I'm not saying Clayton White said it, but I was at that meeting when Lorenzo Ward was like, we don't do things the same around here, and that's why we're successful. And we got to get the guys to understand. Here's how we do things.
Yeah.
And they promptly went out, and Kenny Hill became a Heisman candidate, and the defense fell apart in the opener.
Yeah. Also, he was saying, I meant how Ellis Johnson did things. We did things the way Ellis Johnson
I'm picking
did
on Clayton White here because I know he wasn't here and he doesn't know.
The whole point is,
but the fact I was there when Lorenzo Ward, I was seated about 20 feet away from him.
The bigger point is, this is how Clayton White has done things the whole time. He's actually been the DC, not who. Anyway, there's a tall task. And I don't know if we're downplaying this or I don't know what it is, but we just named those guys. Again, we'll go through them again. TJ Sanders, Debo Williams, Tonka Hemingway, Kyle Kennard, Odie Fortune, Boogie Huntley, Demetrius Knight, Bam Martin Scott, DeAndre Jules. That is a lot of production to reproduce or to replicate for the next season. They have a tall task ahead of them as far as the defensive staff in getting that reproduction to be done again. Those are a lot of not only seniors as far as leadership and all of those cliches, but just ballers and bodies. And so I'm curious to see how this goes.
So let's hear from Clayton White. One more thing here. He talked about the standouts from the offseason so far. Here's who he mentioned yesterday standing out during the winter workouts.
Besides some of the obvious names, I think our guys are doing a good job. I think guys like Devontae Miles just have a really good offseason. He was a guy who just really wanted to come here so he can just flourish and see in this program and what we have to offer from a nutrition, from a development, just from a chance to grow his body. He's up to now probably 275, pushing to he'll be 285, 290 when we play. I think Dindy is doing a really good offseason. His numbers that we have a little Carolina combine we do too, so he did a really good job. And then our linebackers are doing good, Murphy and J.O. I'm going to go with J.O. Y'all can call him.
That works.
I'm gonna go with J.O.
Okoronkwo.
Oh, that's it.
See,
that's a great job. I heard the K. The K was nice.
They're flexing on me by being able to pronounce that right.
Nah, I'm going J.O.
J.O.
And Cisse has really good, a great offseason, and so is Miles Norwood. It's been a good group, man. I thought we went after what we needed.
Glad we got clarification on that. Even when he said it first, I was like, J-O, and then he explained it, and that is, and we got to get Tyler Head back in here to pronounce properly. We had a sheet in here that phonetically broke it down.
Yeah, we're going to need that phonetically. Okoronkwo.
Yeah, something of that nature.
I believe it's the name. Again, we can get that. We got Eamon Worry.
Took a while.
If exactly. But he made a bunch of plays, and you're like, oh, yeah, I can pronounce that name. He making plays? Got it. Okoronkwo. Make some plays. We'll get it.
We'll get it. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll give away some basketball teams for the NCAA tournament, and we will carry on with this conversation. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years, Larry Leitner and the family, they have been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry, and it's that proven history that is your assurance that they will get the job done in a proper and safe way that'll please you and your business. So give them a phone call today, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. What stands out about Mid-State Roofing? Well, the fact that they're thinking about your roof 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's right. You give them a phone call, doesn't matter what time, they will have an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee ready to take your phone call and help you with a maintenance contract. So don't wait another day. Give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. Let Mid-State Roofing come out and help it design and install a bonded system with a protective guarantee that'll, again, keep your operation dry and running long into the future. Call Mid-State Roofing today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Dutch Fork Road near Three Dog Road, an accident there. Also, I-20 westbound at Highway 378. And just one more to let you know about Cedar Crest Drive near Freedom Drive. Earlier accidents have been cleared. Great news on that front. 82 under sunny skies, what we're looking at for today. We usher in spring tomorrow with a few spring showers in the morning. It's going to be breezy throughout the day, 68 for the high, 66, and sunny for Friday. We'll be in the 70s with sunshine for the weekend. But right now, still a little bit cooler start to your morning, 42 on 107.5 The Game.
.35 this morning as we've talked some baseball. South Carolina's 4-3 victory over Charleston last night at Segra Park. They'll now get ready for Arkansas this coming weekend. We've talked a little NCAA tournament. North Carolina with the victory last night. Huge victory over San Diego State. Alabama State with a Hail Mary last-second pass and then a layup to secure a 70-68 victory to move on. And they'll now get Auburn in the first round coming up on Thursday. We've discussed that a little bit, and we've been discussing South Carolina football and the NFL Combine, both the South Carolina Combine, the NFL Combine, and then also spring practice, which gets going today as well. A lot on our plate this morning.
Yeah, a lot happening. Spring is always busy. I always say, especially for like high school athletic director, shout out to our guy Dustin Curtis. This time is a nightmare. There's so much going. Spring sports are wild, and they're happening at a lot of different levels.
Make you a little grumpy? Can it make people a little grumpy?
Yeah, for sure.
So if you have a quarterback that's out there and he's a little indecisive and likes to go on darkness retreats and won't make a decision, how does Aaron Rodgers upset a team that he's not even playing for yet?
And once he upsets you, why do you even consider bringing him in? Once you know this is what it is, why would you consider this? I haven't even kept up with this latest drama. Who was upset by Aaron Rodgers?
So if you haven't seen, Cameron Hayward yesterday, defensive captain for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has his podcast, Not Just Football, and he basically said he's not going to – he said not great lengths. He's not going to any lengths to recruit Aaron Rodgers. He said, Hayward said on the podcast, I ain't doing the darkness retreat. I don't need any of that crap. Either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. It's that simple. That's the pitch. If you want me to recruit, that's the recruiting pitch. Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to be a part of it, so be it. If you don't, no skin off my back.
I hear you, Cam. I understand what you're saying. However, that pitch of Pittsburgh Steelers, not as strong as it once was. I mean, the pitch is Pittsburgh Steelers. You won't have a losing season. That's the pitch, right?
Okay.
That's it. You can't say Pittsburgh Steelers, we're going to advance in the playoffs. Pittsburgh Steelers, we're going to win Super Bowls. The pitch is you can become a Pittsburgh Steeler and you're guaranteed to not have a losing season because Mike Tomlin's incapable of that. He also might be incapable of winning any games in the playoffs.
You also had, just in case, DK Metcalf weigh in. Now, you just said, hey, Steelers organization doesn't carry the same weight, the same brand name. DK Metcalf said he wasn't really in the role of trying to recruit quarterbacks to Pittsburgh. He said, this is a historic organization. They've done the recruiting before I even got here. So whoever wants to come here and try to win as many games as we can, they can join us. But if not, good luck on the other side.
I hear you, DK, again, but you're a receiver. Your whole livelihood depends on who's throwing you the ball. So it greatly matters who they bring in. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're running the spectrum of annoying from Russell Wilson to Aaron Rodgers. For different reasons, I can imagine neither one of those guys being great in a locker room for various reasons. But, like, both of those dudes, you'd be like, all right, man, seriously? I imagine a lot of that happening with both of those quarterbacks. So, no, DK, it does matter who your quarterback is because you depend on the quarterback to get you the ball.
So that's one way of doing a recruiting pitch.
Okay.
To basically say. And then we've got Troy head basketball coach Scott Cross, who's got a totally different way. Let's hear a little bit of Scott Cross talking about how he recruited players to Troy basketball, who's in the NCAA tournament about to play Kentucky.
For a town of 15,000 when school's not in town, so you can imagine you got one Waffle House per 5,000 people, so probably most per capita anywhere in the country. But started off the first 2 recruits I brought on campus. We're driving down the main street. I point out Waffle House, ask them if they want to eat there for breakfast, and they were like, Waffle House? You know, hell no, I don't want to go to Waffle House. I'm like, okay, my bad. You know, we'll try and eat somewhere else. Long story short, we signed neither one of those guys. Then we brought a guy named Nick Stampley, who's an OKG, our kind of guy. He was our 3rd recruit to visit. We're driving by. We don't even say anything about Waffle House. He sees it. He's like, oh, Coach, y'all got a Waffle House here. Can we go there tomorrow? He was our first signee. He was one of the toughest guys we've ever coached. And from that point forward, we just kind of offhand ask him, do you like Waffle House? If the answer is yes, it's like, we sign them. If it's no, we never get them. So I told my staff, I was like, hey, y'all can save a lot of time and money. First phone conversation, in passing, ask them, do they like Waffle House or not?
It's one way to do it. Now, if the first 2 dudes had signed and they'd made an NCAA tournament, would he be like, yeah, we don't recruit dudes who want to go to Waffle House?
You know, it's all situational. What I wonder is if, like, those first 2 players, because there's a Waffle House algorithm you could probably get on where you just see nothing but mayhem, fights, a lot of stuff happening at Waffle House. They might have been like, Coach, I don't know about this. Anything I've ever seen about the Waffle House has been. And then the other kid, he might have been on the good algorithm for the Waffle House. He might have seen the hash browns and the smothered covered and all of that. So he might have been like, oh, I heard of this thing. I doubt I would like to know where these players are from, because I doubt anybody from the Southeast does not have a firm grip on where you stand on Waffle House, right? So these might have been players from some other part of the country, the world, and they could have seen some of those bad Waffle House videos, and they've been like, "Oh, I only see fights. I only see wild things happening at the Waffle House."
Couple different ways to recruit. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up. Final thoughts here on your Wednesday morning. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. You've heard me talking about it. I don't know whether I'm making it up or not, but I have deemed it Spring Cleaning Month. That's right, National Spring Cleaning Month, to go ahead and get that carpet, the rugs, the tile, the upholstery, all insanely clean. And the way to go about doing that is with Zero Res and their patented ZR water technology, scientifically proven to keep the carpets, rugs, tile, upholstery all clean and do it without leaving behind a sticky, soapy residue. So call Zero Res today, 803-262-4020. Mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119 plus a free hallway. You heard that right. 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119 plus a free hallway. All you got to do is give them a phone call, 803-262-4020, or schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Final segment of the show, and let's give you one final chance to get some teams this morning. Now, if you've already won teams, you can't call back. You get one team for the NCAA tournament. We'll take callers 6 and 8 right now. Callers 6 and 8, and you will be assigned a team for the NCAA basketball tournament. And if that team wins, you can get season baseball tickets to the remaining games for the Gamecock baseball team. So we'll take callers 6 and 8, and you will be assigned a team that has already been picked. 803-404-6100. Call Jen. We'll take callers 6 and 8, and you will get assigned a team for the NCAA tournament. If that team makes a run, Preston Thorne, you can win season baseball tickets. All right, is this the start of us doing our show tonight? Most important game of the season for the SEC in basketball.
Ooh.
You've had some good non-conference victories. Auburn went out to Houston. Auburn fought each other on a plane, turned the plane around, came back home, went back out, beat Houston early in the season.
I forgot about
another number one seed. Yeah, don't forget about that. I love Bruce Pearl. I'm a Bruce Pearl fan. That's a Bruce Pearl team right there. If they ain't fighting on the plane, traveling somewhere,
when he
Bruce ain't recruited the right players.
When he saw that, he was like, "Oh,
we got a squad.
I think we're gonna be all right this year, guys."
Yeah, we good. Texas Xavier tonight. It'll be the late game. American and Mount St. Mary's. I'm interested to see, and we really get it going tomorrow, but it kind of starts tonight, the narrative on 14 teams in the league. The SEC is despised to begin with, right? Like football, we're good at softball. I think we're good at gymnastics, and we win those championships. The SEC as a whole is despised, so basketball was never our thing. So that was always kind of the laughing point for other players. Like, oh, it's good, you're good at all that, but basketball, you guys stink. Now the SEC took a measured approach to improving their basketball about 7 or 8 years ago, and now it results in 13 teams in Texas being in the NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah, we can measure it in dollars.
Yeah,
that's how we can measure it. I personally think 14 teams in a conference is too many.
Okay,
I think that. I do think that. Maybe 10. That still seems like an awful lot because I just feel like in basketball, there's a lot of other teams that, if they get into the tournament, can play and show up. So I do think 14 teams is probably too much. That being said, if you get 14, those teams better win because there's a lot of backlash that is waiting and ready for you if you don't have a good performance as a conference in this tournament.
Well, and that's why I say Texas tonight, scheduled for about 9:10 on True TV. Remember, we found that this morning accidentally looking for this baseball game, which, by the way, the Dodgers have 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th here.
Got to get 27 outs, Bill.
Got it. Yeah, they're on 26 out of 7.
You know, you can blow that sunshine and all that all you want, but it just, when it comes to the Cubs, it's like, ugh.
Got to get 27. Very close.
Okay. No, we're going to live another pitch. No, yeah, I'm with you on this. But tonight's a big one because you lose this game, the pundits will be out. The Twitter will be ablaze.
Little crack. There's obviously somebody who has something fired up, ready to go. Like, oh, see what we said? 14 teams, huh? I don't think it would be as bad if Texas loses because they probably see them as a fringe team. But if one of these mid-level teams, say, let's say Arkansas, Kansas.
That's the one, even though Arkansas is a 10 seed. I think the two you're looking at is Mississippi, North Carolina, 6-11, and what was the other one I gave you that I was like, that's a big one for Missouri, Drake, 6-11.
Those 2 games you want to look at and see because if SEC loses those games, folks will be out and ready to go. I mean, and maybe rightfully so.
We're under the impression Auburn, Florida, Tennessee's a 2 seed, Alabama's a 2 seed. We're under the impression Texas A&M's a 4. That's one you can't blow. We're under the impression that those teams will hold their own. Kentucky's a 3 seed, by the way, that will hold their own and advance. So you're like, all right, anything 5 and lower, don't blow those games. But the 6-11s, you lose those and people start going, boy, those teams were wildly overrated. By the way, it'll start tomorrow, 12:15, Creighton and Louisville from Rupp Arena. They put the video up, Preston, or I saw it yesterday on Twitter. I agree. Bring back the home court. Stop doing these cookie cutter. That was part of the NCAA tournament when we were growing up. That Boise State court will always have a memory in my mind.
Yeah, they're trying to make it neutral, easy branding across. But we all know we're watching the NCAA tournament. We don't need to see the court and understand that. We get it. We know what we're doing.
But again, tomorrow it'll get going. Creighton and Louisville. That'll be followed by High Point and Purdue. And then it'll really get going. Those are kind of your two early games, 12:15 and 12:40. And then it really gets into full gear at 1:30 with Montana in Wisconsin. McNeese and Clemson tomorrow. Will Wade against his former school.
Can you find McNeese on the map?
Virginia, I think.
Bill, you might have a chance to go
Virginia.
2 for 3 today. Let's see. Miss Neat. No.
Really?
McNeese State University is in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
You know what? He was at VC. I did not. No, I had no clue on that.
There you go. That's why
I wasn't getting to school. It didn't matter who the coach was.
That's why you got to do the bit. That's why you got to do the assignment. Got to find out where these schools are.
We know where Wofford's at.
We do.
But I think that would be up there
That'd
with
be
Bryant.
a tough one.
Yeah. Y'all have a great
See
rest
y'all
of the
tomorrow.
day. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where they have been the leader, the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry for over 30 years. And that is because of their assurance that their professionals will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility. Whether you're here in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, Aiken, Augusta, Charleston, Greenville, wherever you're at, Mid-State Roofing wants to help your business, wants to help your home, and they want to do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You give them a phone call, you'll speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee. So don't wait another day. You know what they say, if you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. Well, don't even get a leak. Go ahead. Call Mid-State Roofing today and be prepared. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. You can even visit them on the web. MidStateRoofing.com is the way to do that. From high-rises to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. Give Mid-State Roofing a call today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.